Talk about table tennis. Mastiff Table Tennis Club. Mima Ito, big head, heavy hammer doll is an athlete the Chinese love and hate. Mima Ito, born on October 21, 2000 in Iwata city of the Shizuoka Prefecture of Japan, is currently ranked the number 2 female table tennis player in the world. The Chinese affectionately call Mima Ito the big-headed doll. Mima Ito also joked about this herself, claiming that her forehead is larger than that of Chinese athletes. This is my advantage and uniqueness. Mima Ito is short in stature, with round, small arms and legs. With strong explosive power, she plays the ball like a small hammer, making crackling sounds with each return. Ito's offensive attacks are so fast that her opponents are often unable to find the ball, making their heads spin. We often call her the heavy hammer doll. Ito has a strong mental game and a deep desire to win. Her dream is to defeat the Chinese to become a world champion and Olympic champion. And she certainly has given the Chinese a run for their money. She is a player with high impact and lethality. One reason why Ito can be a tough matchup is because her training partner is a male athlete. Mima Ito's play style is more advanced and fiercer. She's the most terrible. She is a love and hate athlete for the Chinese women's table tennis team. Mima Ito plays close to the table and her lethal attacks are extremely fast. Using her pips out special rubber, she has a fast bounce with her backhand and violently hits with her reverse rubber forehand. She is currently a nightmare player for the Chinese women's team. She used to beat Chinese athletes, including Zhu Yuling and Ding Ning, sending them across the floor. Zhu and Ding would struggle to keep up with Ito's fast tempo of play and were desperate for a return. Ito can be described as the biggest stumbling block for the Chinese women's table tennis team in the Olympics. Ito has the momentum to explosively hit the Great Wall of China. Are there cracks in the Great Wall of China's table tennis team? Hey! On October 4, 2018 at the ITTF Sweden Open, Ito defeated Lu Xilin in the quarterfinal. Ito and Lu both fought hard in this 7-game match, but Ito won with an outstanding performance. Then in the semi-final, Ito defeated Ding Ning 4-2 and advanced to the final. In the final, Ito faced Zhu Yuling. Mima Ito swept the match, beating world number 1 Zhu Yuling 4-0 to win the championship. Zhu Yuling could not keep up with Ito's rhythm in terms of speed and footwork. It seemed that Zhu could only return and struggled to fight back. On November 18, 2019 at the ITTF Tour in Austria, Zhu Yuling and Mima Ito returned to the women's singles final. The mentality of the Chinese national women's team and their fans was for Zhu Yuling to shove shame and revenge and educate this naughty doll. At the time, Zhu was the world's number 1 ranked player. Ito used to make Chinese table tennis players lose face. The desire to win was there, but the reality was cruel. Heavy hammer doll Mima Ito miraculously repeated the glory of 2018 and beat Zhu Yuling 4-1 to win the championship. In this match, Ito used her magical speed and strength, defeating the supposedly unbeatable Chinese table tennis team a la the sung 10,000 miles of the Great Wall will never fall. Zhu Yuling's solid, heavy, and late game play style fell apart and was defeated in front of the heavy hammer doll. Li Sun, the head coach of the Chinese women's team, who was coaching off the court, had a gloomy face, and he appeared to be sitting on pins and needles. Finally, the Chinese table tennis team reluctantly gave up on cultivating Zhu Yuling's talent for many years, because she could not defend the myth of the undefeated Chinese table tennis team. On March 7, 2020 at the women's singles semi-final of the ITTF Tour Qatar Open, Mima Ito went straight 4-0 and defeated the Grand Slam player Ding Ning, the first sister captain and best player of the Chinese women's team. Even in the third game, the heavy hammer doll beat Ding Ning 11-0, which was a stunning and magical game in the history of women's table tennis. Ding Ning is a formidable defensive rally player. However, her ability to hold near-endless rallies and sticky game play were ultimately eclipsed and rendered powerless by the speed and power of the heavy hammer doll.
And the kill shot.
Unable to recover, Ding Ning eventually lost 4 games in a row.
Well played.
Ito is the strongest enemy of the Chinese women's table tennis team. The above few matches can be described as a huge shame for the Chinese women's table tennis team. Failure is not an option when it comes to table tennis for the Chinese.
Spin to chops to flat hits.
Given the strength of Chinese table tennis team, defeat is very rare. Despite how hard it is for China to find well-matched opponents, China craves strong competition. The existence of a strong competitor like Mima Ito can stir the fighting spirit of the Chinese athletes and encourage innovation in table tennis skills and techniques. Ito is a great opponent on the training ground for the Chinese women's team. She serves as an inspiration for young Chinese athletes, drawing them to table tennis. Mima Ito is an athlete who is more loved by the Chinese than Fukuhara, Ito's predecessor, but they are two different types of love. The love for Fukuhara that the Chinese have is true love because the Chinese adore her personality and image. They felt true love for Fukuhara because she could rarely defeat China's main athletes. The love for Ito that the Chinese have is a fear of love, that is, they're afraid that she will beat Chinese athletes. When the heavy hammer doll competes with Chinese athletes, she commands respect. Every time Ito swings her small hammer, she smashes every ball head-on, reminding the Chinese women's team of her existence and threat. Her ball hits the heart of every Chinese who loves table tennis, bringing them wonderful games and thrilling emotions. The depth of love, the depth of hate. Except for a few Chinese national athletes, no one in the world can defeat the big-headed doll. Defeating Mima Ito has become a required rite of passage for many Chinese female athletes to be selected for the Olympic team. The Chinese women's team strategically abandoned the key training of Zhu Yuling and Wang Manyu precisely because they could not guarantee a defeat against Ito. Their chance of being selected for the Olympic team is slim. It's unfortunate that Zhu and Wang are players in the same era as the big-headed doll.
Right down the Ito got the first point.
Because of Ito, Zhu and Wang have lost the opportunity to represent China in the next Olympics Games. They'll always be overshadowed by Ito, just like how all other quarterbacks are overshadowed by Tom Brady in American football.
Again, a lot.
Sun Yingxia wasn't originally the favored Chinese player for the Olympics, but by virtue of her remarkable record against Mima Ito, she has risen above Zhu and Wang as the favorite pick and is likely to compete in the Tokyo Olympic Games. This outcome can be described as a few happy and a few sad. We look forward to the matchups between Mima Ito and Chinese athletes in the Tokyo Olympics next year. We expect them to be thrilling and exciting games with excellent gameplay. Please subscribe, like, share, forward, click the bell and comment to stay updated. Thank you for watching. Mastiff Table Tennis Club.